Hello everybody, welcome back to my dungeon crawl vid channel thingy. I had a little bit of a different idea for a segment in place today, and yeah, I'm gonna begin, if you'll indulge me, by talking just about dungeon crawl a little bit more philosophically than usual. Unlike many other games, and I suppose I should pull out a notepad file, unlike many other games, Dungeon Crawl does not offer you the ability to farm or improve over time in a in-game mechanics way. The only benefits you can have playing Dungeon Crawl are those that are from outside the game, namely your ability, your knowledge, etc. And that is something that obviously frustrates many players, but it's also a great strength for the game. It means that when you first queue up the game, you have as good a probability of winning as you've ever had, barring, I guess, the most trivial example of ghosts, and, there's some cheater strategies involved in, making a higher powered ghost and then weakening him purposefully so he's easy to kill. I don't go in for such shenanigans. I generally delete my morgue files and my bones files regularly so that I don't deal with ghosts in any capacity and let the game be as if it was a fresh install. The reason I bring all of that up is I kind of wanted to discuss starting a new build or trying a new character out. You all saw my earlier attempt to do this where I discussed the idea of a Felid Summoner versus a Felid Berserker versus Conjurer. And I explained why and how you might go about doing each of these and show the pros and cons. That is a design perspective on choosing your character. And when it comes to trying to pick OP character class combinations, OP meaning overpowered, I think that that's important to do in a game like Dungeon Crawl where the game is so stacked against you, you need to use every advantage you have available. However, if you're at the point where you're trying out a combo for fun and you just want to see what happens with it, or you want to try and make something work on your own volition, you have to realize that there's always going to be combinations that just aren't user-friendly or startup-friendly. For example, a Mummy Wizard, which is a very strong starting option. Let me go ahead and write it out. Mummy Wizard, it's a very strong starting option, as in Wizard is a strong starting option. No matter how much you try, you will always be at risk of a first 200 turn death that you cannot do anything about. Because a Mummy Wizard will die, on average, to three three jackals on floor 1. This happens all the time, there's nothing you can do about it, and makes you a sad panda. Because your movement speed is too low to escape, at that point in the game your resource pool is too low, you have, 2 mana, 3 mana points for 3 magic darts, which isn't enough to one-shot kill with, and most likely you're going to have a miscast or a miss. And even as late as floor 2, a situation with a Knoll or 2 can really do you in. And yet, somehow, people manage to get Mummy Skoink. How is that? Well, obviously, you can start Scum. And I've pointed out before, and I'll say it again, if you get screwed over on floor 1, that's not a big deal, just restart, because it's floor 1 for Christ's sake. You probably haven't played that long. However, even then, there's, among people who play, and play enough, some people just have a disproportionate success rate. I don't remember the name of the person who commented, but somebody commented earlier, words to the effect that it seems like your average run gets you as far as the lair. And I thought about that statement a lot, actually, because, for me, it does. I realize I feel the same way. On average, I feel like I get that far, and yet I never seem to get that far when I try things outside of my normal starting set or my comfort zone, unless, except for the rare occasion here or there. So I really thought about why this is, and I'm good enough at this game, I'm still recently good enough at this game, that I can remember what it was like before I was that skilled. And honestly, I think what it comes down to is there's two things. First is your build. If you pick a broken build, or powerful build, I guess, if you don't want to use the word broken, it's going to be easier to get that far. I would say that a Spriggan Wizard, for example, or say a Kenku Conjurer, though to a lesser degree, will virtually always be able to get as far as the lair and have the resources to keep going. These are powerful, robust builds. As long as you play even marginally intelligently, you have so many escape options at your beck and call. You practically can get through the early game with no new item drops, and you'll be fine. But even then, I used to play these same builds and have a lot of trouble and die every now and then. And that's where the second big thing I think comes in. And I would call that instinct. Yes, it's true that play skill can substitute for instinct if you play slowly and turn by turn. But the thing about using your play skill as opposed to your instinct is inevitably in Crawl, all it takes is 1 or 2 or 3 bad decisions at the wrong time to kill you. Play skill is where you stop constantly and think about the situation and make the right mechanical decision because you know what it is. Instinct is where you don't have to. You know what your character is capable of. You have a feel for it. If I'm playing, and I could cite other videos in the past and it would be very clear what I was talking about. If I'm playing and I auto-move my Spriggan into range of a giant newt, I know, a Spriggan Blizzard into range of a giant newt, I know that it's safe to unload. I know that it will die in 1 magic dart hit. Or, if the first is a miscast or blocked, 2. Or maybe 3, but that's it. I have a sense for how much it will take. Later on in the lair, when I have Issekundrun's Mystic Blast up and active, I know that it will be able to kill a Spiny Frog in 2 solid hits, or at least bloody it so that it has to run away. 2 solid hits will do that. 1 weak hit or 1 dodge or 1 block will not. And a miscast, of course, is always a minor risk. So I don't have to stop and do the math. I just take a look at my mana, and if I eyeball my mana and feel like I'm at half already, I'm kind of leery of burning my other half of my mana on it. If I'm above half, go nuts, blow it up. You should be fine. Worst case scenario, use your Spriggan speed to get away. The reason I bring all of this up is, I suspect this is the problem I'm having with alternate builds. On the one hand, they're not super powered, which means I need to be more cautious. But on the other hand, I don't have a sense for what's necessary. I don't know what they're capable of. My instinct is weak. And that brings me to today's segment, so welcome to not what's going to be another crawl through the dungeon, but instead going to be something that I call Building the Instinct. What does that entail? Well, obviously playing a lot helps, but what we're going to do is I really do want to get a Deep Dwarf, Tanky Caster, Earth Elementalist working. So we're going to go ahead and call this guy Test 1. We're going to go ahead and focus on making this work and building an instinct, because there's something very interesting about these characters. And that is that their starting stack is 20 stones, and their starting ability is Sandblast. Now, for those of you who don't know, the way Sandblast works is that it gives you a range 2, but not the corners, range blast. Notice how the corners are out, but these are fine. And those squares are targetable. You can deal a reasonable amount of damage without wielding stones, or you can wield the stones, disintegrate them, and deal significantly greater damage. This has significant implications in terms of how you approach the game, because walking around and firing off sandblasted stones at every enemy is going to result in you running out of stones quickly. Like this rat, I should be able to just kill without it. However, knowing which enemies and at what point it's vital to switch to and from the different switch your stones on or off is really important too. It's a finite resource that you need to monitor. Now, in a typical early game, I should be expecting to acquire multiple stones, but I want to build an instinct for the level 0 through 3 game initially, and then we'll see how it works from there. My goal is to see if I can get through 0 through 3 using less than 10 stones on average. Here's a goblin. I think I can just kill him with basic sandblasts at this maximum range. Let's find out. Okay, so a sandblast is capable of one-shotting a goblin. And honestly, this is why I call it building the instinct. This is not about getting further. I'll be real with you guys. I was considering not even sharing this video. I was gonna do this privately, but it occurred to me that this might be of use to other people who are trying to learn how to play different classes. Notice what I did there. That was an instinct developed from playing Crawl as much as I have. I see 3, only one saw me. If I back away, I can pull 1. Let's pull 1, and I did. Alright, my suspicion is that a Gnoll is too high level to kill with ordinary sandblasting. That said, I am going to try doing just that. Let's chuck the stones at him, because that shouldn't... Oh... Mulching is going to be an issue, isn't it? Yeah, these are getting mulched, so I'm not going to... That's a waste of a stone to me. Okay, so with 3 sandblasts, of which 2 hit, I was able to reduce the Gnoll to very low health. So to kill a Gnoll at level 1 with no improved abilities, it's possible to do, but yeah, it's unlikely. And that sandblast hit him square, so let's go ahead and wield the stones. I miscasted, so that wasn't actually a shot. What is my casting accuracy initially? It's excellent. Okay, so that was an oddity then. Let's go around the long way so as to avoid aggroing that goblin. That rocket blast killed him instantly, so I think that, at least initially, it is reasonable to waste or to burn stones against gnolls. Rats, I should be able to do just fine with that. And I'm very stealthy, aren't I? Fairly stealthy. Okay, yeah, it definitely feels like it. I'm able to walk up to these guys sometimes. And obviously a priority during your average starting run. This is a hobgoblin, so same concept. Let's go ahead and burn stones against him. 1 shot, 1 kill, so maybe that was a bit of overkill. Next time we'll try without the stones. Kobold definitely kill without. Notice that I always retreat and I don't approach. That's because I'm regenerating mana this way. I have a very low mana capacity initially. Oh, thank God, a stone wielder. I can refresh my stock against him. Not if this happens. I need a weapon. I don't have a weapon. I should have picked up a weapon sooner. You know, when I had more opportunity. Yes. Focus down the kobold. Notice that if I use the stone, I don't need to potentially burn 2 mana points because 1 will definitely be enough for a kill. And here, I should save up the mana so that I can get off more than 1 attack at a time. Okay. Picking up stones. 38 stones is a lot. Now I can afford to be a little bit more, whatchamacallit, cavalier about how many of these I use. Definitely want to boost intelligence first. The level 3 level up actually does worlds for my my capabilities on account of giving me so much more mana to work with. Oh, that's actually some really cool rings. Not at all complaining about this outcome. Next time I see a corpse, I've got to go for that too. Notice that I unwielded because I wanted to take this out without wasting stones. And got sick, which is unfortunate. Newt's down. Let's wield the stones. Blast the guy. Because I don't have a melee weapon to beat him up with, so if I burn out a mana... Oh my god, seriously? Okay, 56 stones is a lot of stones. Like, with this many stones, I'm not even worried about running out anymore. Okay, and down a floor. Break out. Now I'm able to one-shot a hobgoblin without stones. So by level 3-ish, just leveling my earth mana magic up... Oh, thank god, I have the poison resist. Just leveling my earth magic up alone. So the range is extended. Yeah, it looks like the range is a little bit extended if you are actually wielding stones. It's like +1 range. So that's something else to bear in mind. Yeah, so it looks like goblins, which were never a problem, but also hobgoblins, just by leveling up earth mana magic directly, I should be able to get that to a reliable level. And I'm going to be running out of mana shortly, so it's important to be dealing lethal damage each shot. There we go. Okay. I don't actually know what this is. I don't think I've seen something like this before. Last time I remember seeing something like this was it was a Spriggan floor, but obviously this is too early for me to be fighting Spriggans. Definitely never want to fight that guy in melee range, so let's just always keep my distance, and the only reason I'm sandblasting him is because, or stone blasting him is because I don't have enough mana to just keep pelting him. Okay, that was painful. I went through all of my mana and didn't kill even one kobold. So, moral of the story, clearly this is a very hit or miss kind of build. There's totally times where you'll fire and miss when you should be able to one-shot. And being ready to deal with the outcome is important, and this means I need to have a weapon sooner. Okay, killing character. Starting over. We have one successful guy at reaching level 3. Let's make another attempt. Same concept, same character. Let's try to use less stones. Let's see what we can get away with and figure that out. That's a clean kill. Moving on. You know what? Should definitely make sure I pick up a weapon. I talked about it, now I'm going to do it. Notice that if I had approached directly, the rat would have been adjacent to me. I'm trying to set things up so that I'm always a knight's jump in chess terms away from my enemy, or, you know, in such a position that I get off that initial shot. And since the plain diagonals don't work. Oh, a dwarven dagger. I'd much rather have a dagger than a club. Goblins are definitely one-shottable, so there's no need to bust out stones for them. And I just put on a cursed robe. There's a small chance that the thing that I have the most of is a scroll of remove curse. It's right up there with it being a scroll of identify. But in all fairness, okay, you know what? I'm just gonna wield the stone since I'm at melee range and I still have mana. I might have been able to kill him off without using them, but using it bought me security. And now I forgot to wield my weapon again, so let's do that. Stab, stab, stab. Okay. Moral of this story, stabbing a hobgoblin never works. Never works. At that point in the game, you just don't have the damage capacity you need, unless you've already crippled him. Alrighty, so far so good. Focusing down earth magic. And now I'm going to actually start moving a little bit faster and seeing if I can get through it. Again, the early part of the game, that's what I'm trying to train for right now. And my god, this rat isn't dead. I'm just going to punch the rat. Yeah, I can get away with punching a rat one-on-one. That's good. Basic goblin, no, hobgoblin. Sandblast, dead. So with hobgoblins, it's kind of hit or miss depending how well the stones hit or miss. But you can use a stone if you need to secure it faster. Definitely want to carry those darts with me. Or you can just use basic attacks. I'm totally going to wield stones against this guy. And still getting brutalized. Dagger, stab, 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 stab. Okay, so stabbing with a deep dwarf is very ineffective. Normally I would heal here, but part of the point of this is to get used to seeing is to get used to having to make. Oh my god, it's a cursed dagger, and now I can't wield stones. How is this a cursed dagger though? It wasn't. I could have sworn it wasn't cursed before. I picked up a dwarven dagger. Did I never wield it? Anyway, so far so good, but see, this is where I would really like to have the ability to wield stones. it actually might be worth burning through all of my scrolls, blindly hoping for a remove curse. There we go. Actually, it's now uncursed, so whatever. Let's see if I can still reach level 3. I suspect I'll be able to without healing. We'll see. Thank God for damage shaving, right? Throwing the darts at him makes sense, so let's start by doing that. Softening him up a little. Let him get into range and then blast him, and he's dead. Stones. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so in my assessment, one of the most dangerous enemies to me early game is the Grey Ooze. They absorb a lot of what I can dish out. My accuracy is suspect at best to begin with, and for some reason they seem to be getting lucky against me. Goblins are soft targets, so are rats. They're easily killed with ordinary sandblasts, and if you don't have the luxury of killing them with the sandblast, you can usually follow up and kill them with something else. Let's go ahead and take a shot at this guy. Throw the dart, wait a turn, blast him, blast him, blast him. He dies, I don't. Int up, wand of healing. Okay, that's another successful run to level 3. Let's go ahead and run one more Deep Dwarf. And I don't often do what I'm doing right now, because normally I feel that I've gotten this early game down pretty well. But it's just, you get so used to, oh god. See, I don't have the instinct. I'm used to blasting these guys. 3 shots isn't enough to kill them. I need to wield stones in order to pull this off at best. Now, I'm stuck running away from a slime, aggroing everything I run across as a result. I'm just gonna escape to the next floor. There's no way I'm gonna be able to win against that as big a mob as I've just created. And that dart trap is going to kill me. Alright. I should have wielded stones when I realized that the thing is, now that I'm kind of in unknown territory, I'm being even more cautious. Definitely don't want to aggro them both at once, so let's yell and see what comes. They both come. Okay, fair enough. Wielding stones makes sense, because if I can one-shot the one, I have plenty of known territory to retreat through and kill the other with one shot as well. So I guess I was being too conservative with my stones, trying to lose, less than 10 total. The reality is, once I get past the early game, I'm probably never going to make use of these stones again. And odds are usually pretty good. In the last couple runs, I've, for each run actually, found multiple stones. I wonder if this works with my abilities. Let's wield the sling bullets. Nothing else to quiver. No, the sling bullets are not, in fact, considered valid for this spell, which makes no sense. That said, I do have a sling now for slinging slinged bullets, which should prove somewhat useful. So, begin by throwing stones, sandblast. Good. Okay, venom daggers are good too. So if this was an ordinary run, I'd actually feel pretty good about what I've acquired so far. There we go, 33 new stones, brings me up to a total of 49. I have absolutely nothing to fear about running out of stones right now. Bring it up to around 60. Hell, I could just wield my stones and be done with it, because I'm not going to need to worry about running out. 85. Okay, moral of the story. I had it all wrong about stone conservation, and that was my mistake, and that's part of why I'm doing this, to try and get a sense of what has to and can't be done. I can afford to always wield the stones to maximize my power once I have a single cache of them acquired. It doesn't take long to find a cache of stones, and notice how much more damage I'm doing. I'm one-shotting things that normally that just earlier this game I said, there's no way I'll survive against that. Now, admittedly, part of that is that I'm already higher leveled. switch to the sling for this, I think, and use sling bullets to catch him. There we go. Quaff randomly. I don't actually need to do that, but oh, okay, that turned out to be a heal wound, so that worked out really nice. But again, I was about to level up anyway without the heal, so ta-da! Another successful run with test 3. Okay, I'm feeling a whole lot more confident about the super early game right now based on this. I freely admit that my previous experimentation had left a little bit of a bad taste in my mouth. It's not that I thought Ijib was, you know, being the death of me in that last 3-minute run was really a huge deal. I mean, I could have been more safe and cautious, but it did occur to me that I didn't really have the instinct for how often Sandblast does and doesn't go off and how it needs to be used. Now that I've acquired a little bit of a better sense of that, I'll be probably doing a throwaway run. Not a throwaway run. I think I'll be doing a proper run with a Deep Dwarf Earth Elementalist and taking my time and trying to do it properly. Alright, thanks for watching. Look forward to seeing you all next time.